Hello friends and welcome to the Crypto Stacker channel. My name is Dean. If you're watching my videos for the first time, please know I only make them for entertainment, education, and for community building around the tokens that I like to discuss. Today's token is Terareum, and Terareum is a sponsor of the Crypto Stacker channel. The current price for Terareum, 8037, down about 6.5% in the last 24 hours. And as we scroll down and look at this chart, if we look at the 24-hour first, you'll see here about midday what looks like a pretty good sell-off. And I saw that originally. I thought, man, that's what is going on there? How do we explain what's going on? I was going to go out and look and see what was going on in the transaction side. But realistically, that's a drop in price from 8039 to 80375. In the grand scheme of things, it's not really that monstrous of a move. And if we zoom out to the 7-day, it pretty much disappears in here. Now, this chart is interesting, the 7-day chart, because it's tracking pretty well what's going on in the broader cryptocurrency market. So if we were to pop over and look at the top 100, you see the pattern in almost every single chart. So first of all, the 24-hour coins, we're down right now about 6.5. As you scroll down through this whole 24-hour column is pretty much in the red, and it ranges anywhere from, a little bit up to about 9%. There's a few coins that look like they're doing better, but for the most part, you can see it's just been kind of a blah market day, and that seems to be the pattern that we're following as well with Terareum. If you look at these charts on the right-hand side here, these are 7-day charts, and you can see in many of them a similar pattern to Terareum again, where there was a boost up in the early part of the week and then a fall off here towards the end of the week. And it's just repeated over and over and over and over and over in many of these charts. So I would just say Terareum appears to be tracking pretty well with what's going on in the market. And new coins won't always be that way. They're pretty sensitive to news. So if Terareum gets good news, it can see a pretty good run up. And if it gets negative news, you could see a run down. So in the last 7 days, it just looks to me like it's pretty much in lockstep with what's going on with the broader market. Now, there are a couple of notable things going on in the Twitter space that we'll talk about. But before we do, let's look at the fundamentals chart for Terareum. So Terareum today is March 31st. The current wallet count, 10,293. Now, I'm getting that number from Dex Tools. Starting tomorrow, I'm going to use the Etherscan number, which is lower. And that is the number that the development team is using to set the benchmark for when they will do the 1 quad burn. At 10,000 holders in the Etherscan data, there'll be a 1 quad burn. So I'll switch that over tomorrow. It's just a nice point to transition. I've started using Dex Tools because they had information tracking on the token before Etherscan did. So I've just stayed consistent with that for the last month and a half. But starting tomorrow, we'll make a clean break, and I'll start using the data that the team's looking at. The market cap, 187 million. That would make Terareum 309th of all cryptocurrencies. Again, that price, 8038. About 500,000 in volume in the last 24 hours in the DeFi space. The burn has ticked up to 51.38%. And you can see about 21 trillion tokens burning. That is covering 2 days, and it's not too far out of a line of what we've seen on days with comparable volume. Now, since the price is going down, you will see a slightly higher burn on the same volume because the same volume will purchase more tokens at those lower prices. And vice versa, if the price is moving up, similar volume will burn less tokens because you're buying less tokens with that volume. All right, folks, let's jump in and take a look at what's going on out in the Twitter space. We'll start with the tweet from RD Price. He just mentions that there are now 6 live Terareum centralized exchange listings, most recently xt.com, but that would mean 6 of the 7 announced exchanges are now live and trading. And hopefully this will start bringing more attention to Terareum and get that price to stabilize and get some support and start moving back up again. The only one that's been announced at this point that is not active is Probit. So we'll see how soon that one comes online and just keep following that situation. Over in Milton's Twitter feed, Milton is the CEO of Terareum. There were a couple of things that I thought were of interest. Both of them were tweets that came out yesterday. So we'll start with this one here. He just says Terarium's going live on XT. It's now live. It was live for deposit yesterday, trading today, and tomorrow. People on that exchange will be able to make withdrawals or send them out to wallets if they choose to do that. He says, we have accomplished tremendous progress within 40 days of listing, bringing in new listings every week from the start, which is 6 exchanges in 6 weeks. That tracks. And our Terareum exchange will employ 300 employees within a year. Major crypto affiliations coming soon. So a little teaser there for some hopefully good news that will be coming. Those 300 employees, in my last AMA with the team, they talked about a bricks and mortar location in India for the exchange, and that they had actually already purchased that real estate, and that they would be building it out to house the company, which hopefully will be launching fairly soon. Another tweet here mentions that, and this came off the official Terareum Twitter feed, that Terareum is now registered in India as Terareum Digital India Services Private Limited. The head office will be in this Chennai, Tamil Nadu, India. And he says more news coming shortly. So in the very first AMA I did with Terareum, they announced that they would be creating legal entities to do business in 3 countries. They would do the United States, India, and Dubai. So this would mean that 2 of those 3 are now live. He mentions in his tweet, as he's retweeting this, next stop Dubai crypto license. At Terareum, we deliver on promises made. These are huge milestones for Terareum. The Indian crypto documentations take ages to process. We completed the required within weeks at the Terareum team. So yeah, they do seem to be very active. I mean, the 6 listings so far, that's a pretty torrid pace compared to other projects I've looked at. And, getting their 2 legal entities up and running, they get the one in Dubai, then that would be the 3 that they had mentioned. I know they were looking at some other possible deals in South America, so we'll just have to see where they take that. Now, questions that some of you have been asking in the comments are, what are they doing in terms of advertising? What can they do to get the marketing going and hopefully get some pump going back into this coin? Those would be great questions to ask in another AMA. So I'll be reaching out to the team and seeing what their timeline is on wanting to do an AMA. And either I can host that, or if they want to have somebody else host it, it'd be great to get an update and just see what's going on out there. If you guys have other questions for the team, feel free to post them in the comments. I know that some of the team watch my videos on a regular basis, so they'll be able to pick those right out of the comments. And of course, next time we host an AMA, I'm happy to put any of your questions forward. So before I jump off today, let me just show you my reflections really quick. So again, here we are 331. My current token count sitting at 3,474,000,000,000. In the last 2 days, I received combined 507 million. That brings my total reflections to just under 21 billion since the coin launched on February 21st. At current prices, my reflections value would be $78 and my total token value just under 13,000. So, again, this 21 billion in reflections, I have had it happen in other projects that I track where my reflections actually end up exceeding my original investment in the token. Of course, it depends on what happens with the price and how many reflections you're able to stack up before that price starts moving onto the upside. So in days like this where we're kind of having a down day, it's kind of the consolation prize in my view. I mean, the reflections do not outweigh good price action, but if you're having a down day, it's good to see that my bag is building, up 500 million coins. So it's that's like I say, it's kind of the consolation prize for holding the token and, diamond handing it here a little bit. All right, friends. Thank you for stopping in with me. I appreciate you taking the time. Check back with me soon. We'll watch our crypto stacks grow together.